I am Jason Ulbricht, an independent consultant that is also a life, business, and executive coach located in South Africa. So today's topic that the team and I would like to share with you is about building a resilient mindset, more so during this unprecedented period that we're experiencing in our lifetime. So a quick introduction to the team, who are my fellow coaches as well. We've got Doja Ekeruje, who is located in Nigeria. So hi, Doja. And then in South Africa, we have Yolandi Tui. Hi, Yolandi. And then last but not least, we have Mpumi Shezi, who's also located in South Africa. So let us start by just taking a quick look at the definition of resilience, according to the Oxford Dictionary, that is. It is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties or toughness. So what we can also add to this is that resilience allows you to roll with the punches and cope with whatever life throws your way. It is the ability to adapt and bounce back when things don't go according to plan. It does not mean to bounce back to the original state when things don't go according to plan, but rather to a better state, because by now one would have become a bit more informed and more experienced. So being resilient in some situations can even build one's inner strength and boost confidence in many areas of one's life. So in this unprecedented experience of COVID-19, most certainly the whole world right now needs to be able to build inner strength and boost confidence in all areas of our lives, which ultimately will also help us hopefully boost the economies of our different countries that are struggling at this point in time. So you know what, let me just quickly share with you a recent bad experience that I just lived through. So I recently left corporate and decided to start my own business. So after visiting a client a few weeks ago, I walked out to where my car was parked in the car park, and to my surprise, my car was gone. I mean gone, stolen. So this was quite a huge shock and a setback for me, as you can imagine that this was my key tool in order to conduct my business. But now I was left with the challenge of having to now move around either with an Uber or rent a vehicle to get around and make sure that I'm able to conduct my business. But you know what? This is just, I suppose, another one of life's punches that was thrown my way, and I had to now roll with this. Today, I still don't have a car, but this does not stop me from doing what I need to do. So, in fact, I'm even more determined to make a success of my business, no matter what, even especially now, so during this current COVID-19 curveball that we're all experiencing. So let me ask you, currently, are you feeling exposed? Because I, for one, certainly am definitely feeling exposed. And this is a time when different types of emotions, thoughts, and questions seem to constantly go through one's mind. Things such as, when is this going to end? What's going to happen to my job or to my business? What's going to happen to my life? So given that currently there's just so much of this uncertainty and an endless list of unanswered questions, it is important that we start to understand that resilience can also positively impact our physical and mental health. So with this all being said, hopefully by now, you're starting to ask yourself questions about just how resilient are you actually. So let me quickly just tell you, a positive attitude, the ability to regulate one's emotions, being optimistic, the ability to see failure as a form of helpful feedback, or even the ability to learn from one's experiences and adapt to new and different situations, as well as the ability to be able to ask for help when help is needed. These are just some of the things that psychologists have identified resilient people to have. So if you already see some of this in you, then it's a good start towards tapping into your resilience and starting to feed it so that you can ultimately end up breathing it, being able to leverage it, especially in this new life where we all require a good dose of resilience. And although some people have a disposition to be more resilient than others, that's fine, because it is something that indeed can be built or learned. So building resilience relies on developing one's behaviors, thoughts, and actions that can create a mindset that can be used in a variety of life situations. So talking about mindsets, perhaps Yolandi, can you tell us a bit more about how to go about creating this mindset?
Thank you, Jason. I'd like to use the quote by Mahatma Gandhi to build a foundation to explain what tools you can use to assist you in building a resilient mindset. He says, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits, in turn your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. Now if we pause and analyze this statement, what is he saying? He says that your thoughts ultimately lead to the life you want to live. The steps in the reframing tool will help us to build this resilient mindset that we are trying to achieve. Step 1, consciousness. How conscious and present are we? What state are we currently living in? Do we live in the past, the present, or the future? The past being constantly looking at the mistakes that we've made, thinking that we could have done things differently, or looking at the regrets? Or are we looking at the future, constantly planning for tomorrow? What's going to happen in terms of our careers, our businesses, with our kids? Where are you? We very seldom live in the present and in consciously making the decisions that will shape our tomorrow. Step 2, awareness. How aware are we in terms of our thinking, our thoughts? Do we control our thinking or do we just react? Do we have negative thoughts or positive thoughts? What is our perspective in life? Do we look at the doom and gloom and constantly trying to figure out what we could have done differently? Or are we looking at situations and events as opportunities and possibilities for shaping our future lives? Step 3, curiosity. How curious are we to understand each other? Are we patient? Are we willing to adapt? Flexible enough to amend and change our plans? Or are we rigid in terms of where we see ourselves? What mindset are you currently living in? A rigid mindset, a fixed mindset, or a growth mindset, or eventually a benefit mindset? Step 4, courage. How courageous are we to accept and forgive, to build self-esteem and self-confidence, to utilize the strengths and the uniqueness of each other, of the people that surround us, the relationships, our networks? Or are we sitting in our homes feeling alone, feeling uncertain during this time, especially seeing that we're living through COVID-19 that none of us could have predicted? Are we reaching out and asking for help or support during this time? Taking these steps in building a resilient mindset, as Jason had said, one of the key elements to helping us is our attitude. What attitude do you have? Do you have a positive attitude or a negative attitude? Our attitude directs our thoughts. Our thoughts evoke our emotions and our feelings. Our feelings drive our actions and the momentum and the energy at which we implement and we perform these different tasks will ultimately realize the results and the outcomes. And that determines the life that you want to lead. I want you to ponder the following questions in building your resilient mindset. Question 1. What has my life been like up to this point? What would I truly love my life to be like? Am I open, honest, and committed enough to make whatever mindset changes I need to make? And who do I want to be in this time and beyond? You may be wondering how to apply these steps. Mpumi will take us through the application process.
Thank you very much, Yolande. So I think it has become very clear from what my colleagues have discussed thus far that suffering is part of human existence and hence the vicissitudes of life whereby bad things happen to good people. So if we look at the resilience theory briefly, it argues that it's not the nature of adversity that is important, but how we deal with it. So when we face adversity, misfortune, or frustration, resilience is going to help us to bounce back. It's going to help us to survive and recover, even in the face of misfortune. So if we look at Jason's story, for example, he had lost his car was stolen, but he was able to bounce back and continue with his business to date. So having said that, I want us to just look at the 3 steps that we can apply on our day-to-day basis when we encounter such challenges in our lives. So the first step is acceptance. So this is where you need to accept what has happened to you without asking why me, without blaming other people, and even blaming yourself or the circumstance. Again, if you look at Jason's example story, he did not blame himself for losing his car. He did not blame maybe the check company or any other thing, but he accepted that his car was stolen. So this is a space where you need to allow yourself and surrender to what has happened. Just accept and acknowledge that this is what has happened. And again, what is important here is acceptance does not mean that you are happy with the situation. Nobody would be happy that their car was stolen, but it means that you are here and there is nothing that you can do to undo the current situation. And then moving right along, the second thing that you need to do, you need to be able to adapt to the new situation or to the new environment that you now find yourself in. So you need to work out on ways or different ways in which you can live your life differently in light of what has happened to you or in light of the new circumstance. For example, if we look at Jason's story again, when he lost his car, he started thinking about alternative ways in which he can still be able to see his client. He would hire a car or he would use Uber. So this is where we refer to how you adapt to the new situation and finding ways of living within the situation that you are finding yourself in at that particular time. And lastly, but not least, this is where you need to assess your situation and your adaptation strategy. So here you continuously assess that, okay, now this is what has happened. I've accepted and I have found a new way or a strategy of dealing with it, but is it working? So you need to assess your adaptation strategy and make necessary changes so that you make the best out of the situation. For example, let's just assume in Jason's case, he had hired another car for 2 months contract, and now we are finding ourselves in the country and worldwide in a situation of COVID-19, and we are under shutdown in many countries, including South Africa. So even though at that time, when his car was stolen, he hired a car, it made sense at that particular time. However, now we are under lockdown until end of April, and we are not even sure if it's not going to be extended even further. So right now, if he had hired a car, he would have to sit down with himself and assess his adaptation strategy. For example, should he return his car and rather use Uber as and when he does grocery or whatever is essential to him during the lockdown, rather than continuing with the 3 months or a 2 months contract. So it's very important that we do these things so that we are able to stay afloat in terms of the situations that we are finding ourselves in. So right now, I'm going to ask Dorcas to come in and bring everything together for us.
Truly, resilience is the ability to keep going in crisis. So we cope and adapt in order to bring positive growth. And the positive growth can be the change in the way of thinking that is getting us out of the stuck mindset into the growth mindset. It may also be in achieving your desired outcome or coming out of the crisis a changed or renewed person. The Japanese, they allude to resilience being like a willow tree. If you know a willow tree, not too tall, drooping leaves, it bends significantly in storm. But what is important is that it does not break. So in this exclusive session, we have learned tools to help us remain flexible but unbreakable, regardless of the storm that life brings our way. No matter what the storm is, even the current one, even other ones that may be happening in our personal lives, we will be flexible and we will not break. We have also learned how to reframe our mindset, knowing that everything starts from our mind. We deploy a systematic technique that we have learned now to tackle negative thoughts and ensuring that counterproductive thoughts are dealt with in real time, because our thoughts become our emotions and our feelings, and then they determine the actions that we take, and then the results that we achieve. Or indeed, like Yolanda said, they determine the life that we live. So this is the time to ditch the victim mindset and adopt the survivor mindset, and it will help us see the opportunities and derive benefits from the crisis. We'd like to remind you as a team, please do not give up. Reach up, reach out. Whenever you're dealing with a problem, there are major benefits in reaching out to people, especially expert coaches like us, because we help you see an excellent way to gain a new perspective, look for new solutions, deal with your current reality, identify your strengths, and help you on the journey of developing new coping skills. With a resilient mindset, you stretch, you will bounce back, and certainly you flourish. You still need help? Jason, Yolanda, Mpumi, and I, the four of us are here. We are keen to help coach you through this period or any other difficulties that you may be facing. We encourage you to feel free to post underneath this post in your comment section any specific areas you need support, any topic that you would like for us to handle next, and your thoughts on this particular discussion on resilience as well. We're looking forward to hearing from you. All the best from me and the rest of the team. Thank you.